Welcome to History of Abnormal, the true story of Shanti Devi. Imagine waking up in the body of a child, but with memories that don't belong to you. Faces you've never seen feel familiar. Places you've never been are vivid in your mind. Names you shouldn't know come easily to your tongue. What would you believe? What would your family think? And what if some of those memories could actually be verified? Tonight, we dive into one of the strangest and most disturbing mysteries in human history, the phenomenon of children who remember other lives. Real cases, real names, and stories so chilling that entire religions, cultures, and even conspiracy theorists point to them as proof that death is not the end. The most famous of these stories begins in Delhi, India, in the early 1930s. A girl named Shanti Devi, barely 4 years old, began insisting that she was not who her parents thought she was. She claimed her real home was in a town she had never visited. She spoke of a husband, a son, a house with distinctive details, windows, doors, even the color of the walls. Her parents at first dismissed her words as childish imagination. But when her descriptions became more precise, and when she gave names that matched a real family in another town, the story became impossible to ignore. Shanti Devi's case became so notorious that even Mahatma Gandhi ordered an investigation. A commission of researchers traveled with her to the town she had described. There, she recognized people she had never met, called them by name, and pointed out private family secrets that no outsider could have known. Most shockingly, she embraced a child and called him her son. The boy's father confirmed details only his late wife could have known. Shanti Devi, the commission concluded, was telling the truth. But what truth? Was she the reincarnation of this other woman? A vessel of some supernatural memory? Or something even stranger? The story spread like wildfire. To believers in Hinduism, it was evidence of the wheel of samsara, the cycle of death and rebirth. To skeptics, it was dismissed as suggestion, coincidence, or fraud. But that was only the beginning, because cases like Shanti Devi are not isolated. They appear in cultures across the globe. So tell us in the comments now, if you ever had any experiences of a life before, ever felt you could fly, could put yourself in the position of a situation from old days, ever felt like you missed something but couldn't explain it? Let's go over this in a minute. But first, in the United States, decades later, a boy named James Leininger began to wake from nightmares screaming about plane crashes. He was barely 2 years old, but he named aircraft parts with perfect accuracy. He spoke of being trapped in a cockpit. He gave the name of an aircraft carrier from World War II. His parents, initially baffled, dug into history and discovered that a pilot named James Houston Jr. had been shot down in the Pacific, just as their son described. James Leininger recognized Houston's fellow pilots by name, decades after their deaths. And in one eerie twist, when shown pictures of wartime equipment, the boy could correct details historians had missed. These stories raise a question that chills the spine. Are children more connected to whatever comes before an afterlife? Do the young remember what the old forget? If you step back from individual cases, the picture widens. Cultures across the world have always told stories of people returning. In ancient Egypt, the Ka, the life force, was believed to return again. In Tibetan Buddhism, lamas are searched for as children who carry the memories of their past incarnations. In Christianity, while reincarnation is officially rejected, there are sects and secret traditions that whisper. It was once part of early doctrine, later suppressed by the church. And here is where the conspiracy theories ignite. Some researchers suggest that reincarnation memories are deliberately ignored by mainstream science because they threaten the foundations of organized religion and politics. If people truly believed death was not the end, would governments be able to control with fear? Would entire economies built on saving for the future collapse if people thought they would simply return? Others go further. They claim reincarnation is not spiritual at all, but technological. That our memories are fragments of genetic code passed down and occasionally resurfacing. Or worse, that humanity itself is part of an experiment, with souls recycled in a simulation. In these theories, children who remember past lives are glitches in the system, proof that the memory wipe between incarnations sometimes fails. The myths reinforce this suspicion. From Ireland come tales of changelings, children replaced by fae, carrying knowledge beyond their years. From Africa, stories of children who spoke the names of ancestors immediately after birth. In Native American traditions, elders sometimes identified children as returners, marked by birthmarks or strange familiarity in their eyes. Each culture, in its own language, tells us sometimes the past refuses to die. But if that's true, why do most of us not remember? One belief is that forgetting is a mercy. To live burdened by every grief, every loss, every mistake of past lives would crush us. The wipe, some say, is a gift. Only a few slip through, children who cannot carry the weight and so spill fragments of memory before adulthood hardens the mind. And yet, the number of cases is large enough that researchers have cataloged them. Dr. Ian Stevenson, a psychiatrist at the University of Virginia, spent decades collecting over 2,500 cases of children recalling previous lives. His work is meticulous. Names, places, dates, verified details. Many of the children described violent deaths. And here's where it grows darker. Stevenson noticed that birthmarks often corresponded to wounds from those supposed past lives. A child with a scar-like mark on the chest remembered being shot there. Another with a malformed ear described dying from a head wound. Coincidence or evidence of trauma carried beyond the grave? Do you have any special birthmarks indicating a theory? Share with us in the comments. Conspiracy theorists seized on this. They claim elites and secret societies have always known about reincarnation and have manipulated it. They argue that stories of eternal return were suppressed because true knowledge of past lives would make people ungovernable. Imagine remembering that you'd been a slave in one life, a king in another, and a priest in a third. What power would laws have over you then? The parallels with the idea of eternal life are undeniable. Religions promise heaven or hell, but reincarnation offers something stranger. Eternity without memory. Life after life, stripped of continuity. To live forever, yet never know it. A cosmic punishment or a cosmic reset? That's the question. And still, the testimonies keep coming. Forums online are full of parents describing their children's eerie knowledge. Stories of toddlers who ask, "Where are my other parents?" or who beg not to go back to war. There are whispers of children in Syria, Lebanon, and Turkey identifying murderers from previous lives, leading to arrests. Some are dismissed as folklore. Others are chillingly well documented. What does it mean if even a fraction of these are true? Does the soul migrate like a traveler changing clothes? Are we trapped in an endless loop, reborn to repeat the same mistakes until we learn some hidden lesson? Or is memory itself a parasite clinging from one generation to the next like a ghost in the bloodline? Imagine for a moment that reincarnation is real, that you yourself have lived before. Would you want to know who you were? A peasant? A soldier? A lover betrayed? A killer? And if you knew, could you live with it? The haunting truth is this: children who remember past lives remind us that the boundary between life and death is thinner than we believe. Their stories weave myth, medicine, and mystery into a single tapestry. Some call them miracles. Some call them glitches. Some call them proof. And if even one of these voices speaks true, then death itself is not an ending. It is a locked door, and every once in a while, a child is born with the key still in their hand. Share with us what you believe in. What religious or scientific beliefs do you have? And what would you do if reincarnation was proved true? Thank you so much for watching History of Abnormal. Don't forget to share this video and press that like button to help us with more stories. Thank you.